So how much does a hair transplant cost? Well, it depends on where you decide to go, and it depends on the skill of the doctor. In my case, I got kind of sucked in at a very young age with the marketing. I didn't really know enough about the procedure. There was not a lot of information out there. And so in my case, it cost me well over six figures. Well over six figures. Not only did it cost me six figures, it cost me hours of work and just hours of time because you're not, you have your allowance to make a mistake with this procedure is zero. And a lot of guys don't know that. Your donor area is very limited. And so cost-wise, I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere around the world and you could shop it and you could find a low price, but that low price could easily turn into six figures and you'll never have you'll never have a pleasing result. And a lot of it is just it's just online marketing now, where people are kind of deceived. They see a lot of these celebrities or sports people getting hair transplants, but you have to remember something. You know, over the last 3 or 4 years, who was pushing all these injections that are now showing to have damaged many people? They were all these celebrities, sports stars, people that are in the spotlight, that serve as Pied Pipers. The same thing applies to the hair transplant industry. Okay, so I spent quite a few years putting this book together, and the reason I did was because I felt I needed to get that information out there because you're not going to hear it from a marketer. So I'm going to read you a real quick excerpt here, and that is on the how much donor do you have? In most cases, most guys have probably around, depending on the extent of your hair loss, probably around 5,000 follicular units, maybe slightly higher. But you can go higher when you're young and you haven't had any hair loss. And you'll realize later on in life that those hairs will be lost, because you have those hairs in the back of your head are also susceptible to DHT. So here we go. If you were to take the average density of a head of hair of about 80 follicular units per square centimeter and replace it with 50% density of 40 square centimeters, you would have about 5,000 follicular units. And that would measure out to about 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. So this size square is what you have. This is 50% density. So imagine you can cover this much with 50% of your original density. For most guys, that doesn't work because it's see-through. So they're going to have to place more density in the front of the frontal area, with it kind of gradually getting less towards the back. And so the density, or the square area, will be shortened. So maybe you'll have this much. And that's it. The donor area is very limited. But it's not just that. Here's probably the most important chart in the book. And this chart is on the caliber of the hairs. It goes from less than 25 microns to the high end of more than 152 microns. Okay, so that's like 5 times, almost 6 times the size of the diameter of the hair. What do you think happens when you take that extremely coarse hair from the back of your head and you stick it in the frontal area where the hair shaft is thinner? Let's say it's less than 25 microns, or let's say it's 25 to 51 microns. What do you think happens when people see that at the front of your head? It stands out like a sore thumb. So now, let me ask you a question. Do any of these marketers you see online, do they cover this? No, they don't. And do any of these doctors out there, especially in the countries where you're getting a super low price, do they know which hairs to take as far as caliber and place them in front, and which hairs to take as far as color? No. And so what do you think is going to be your end result? Okay, this is something to think about. There's so much more to it. I really highly encourage you to buy the book. And the reason is because it could save you a lot of money in the long run. And these marketers online, they're in the business of making money. They're not there they're there to give you half truths. No different than the last 4 years. All these people that are damaged, you're on your own. No one's there to help you. So keep that in mind.